Audie, you are so muted, bro, on the stream.
Nice. Let's try it again. Let's run it back.
Run it back. All right. Let's try it again. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tub Takes. This is a VGC podcast where we talk about all things related to VGC, namely the whatever tournaments have recently happened, whatever tournaments are upcoming, any events that are going on in the community. And I am joined by my three lovely co-hosts. I am joined first and foremost by Alex Underhill. Do you want to introduce yourself this time?
No, I liked it better the first time. If you could just play that back, because the second one wasn't it.
Okay, yeah. I'll just do some editing, and then if you're watching this on YouTube, which you can find at over on my YouTube channel, you can
Oh boy.
you can make sure
Keep
to
going.
play
No,
back
no,
all-
no. Shut up. We have two more guests. Shut up.
And of course, we got for the first time on Top Nation, we have Kunal. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Audie. Thank you for having me today.
Of course, it's
I'm
great to have you.
here being held captive for 2 hours here on Tub Takes.
Kunal played Pokemon for the first time in like 2 years, and so now he has to talk about it.
That's true.
Lovely.
And then, of course, last but not least, we have John. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite all right. Yeah, it's a Monday. I can't really ask for much, but it's been a good Monday. So
Yeah. I actually, for some reason, my job gave me today off because it's the day after Easter. I don't know why. So I've just been chilling. It's been great.
We already have Wacka questioning the validity of our guests. Anyways, I wanted to open with a very important question, one that's been weighing on me for a little bit. And this is just for the call out, as well as the chat too. If you guys want to, maybe we'll make a poll. But you guys familiar with cheese sticks?
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
like
Do you peel them or do you just bite them?
that's just definitely a bite angle.
No, I peel them.
What?
Yeah, you got to peel them.
I was just eating one and I just bit it. Yeah. All right, we
Okay,
got an even split, so we
two.
gotta leave it
Did you
split.
bite it? Did you bite it from the ends or did you bite it in the middle?
Well, that's just psychotic. No, I bit it. I bit it in the middle, or in the middle. I bit it at the ends. Here we go. Let's get a poll started for the beginning of the stream, and then yeah, Adi, why don't you talk about the normal stuff that we talk about?
Okay, yeah. So do we have the ability to do polls? We must have, right?
I'm making one. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, as first and foremost, we normally tell you when event signups are going to go live. Normally, they are announced like a few days in advance, and so we end up getting to inform you. This time, they were not. This time, Milwaukee Regionals signups were announced, I think, the day before they actually went live, which, of course, was like a Wednesday. So they were announced on Tuesday, and we had top takes on Monday. So, so Milwaukee registration went live last week. This is really, really far in advance. Milwaukee is the second to last regional of the season, at least for North American players. And it, of course, has not capped in any capacity as far as I know. So there's plenty of time for you to sign up. But I think most of the events this year have capped after a few weeks of signups, Internats being the exception. So you probably have a little bit of time to, maybe go to EUIC, go to another regional, decide if you want to go to Milwaukee. But just so you are aware, if you know you are going to Milwaukee, signups are live, and you should definitely go sign up whenever it's convenient. I guess one thing I will say, because I know Rajan was complaining about this, because that's what he does. I think this is really good. I think that it's great that signups open up really early because, one, it means you're less likely to have a rush for signups, and two, if signups go live before you book your flights, that means that if you don't get in, you don't have to book your flights, and that's just really, really nice as compared to what happened at like EUIC, where people had booked their flights and just like had to get in because otherwise they were going to another continent without any guarantee that they were actually going to be playing in the tournament.
Yeah. No, that is convenient. Do we actually know what the numbers are looking like for this one?
Alex, you registered, right?
I registered. Yeah, I'll be going to this one. Milwaukee has 395, so it says registrations are still open. I don't know what we're going to expect to see those numbers get up to, but this is a little bit smaller. Maybe it's because it's a bit of a ways away. It is about 2 months away. So, yeah, I guess we'll have to see how filled up that one gets closer to when it's actually happening.
I think
Yeah,
Fort
I
Wayne.
think
Go ahead.
Hartford is also still open. It's before Milwaukee, but I remember seeing the organizer tweet about that one. We still have, like 100, 150 slots. So
At
Oh,
the very
okay.
least, Milwaukee didn't fill up, but it was like announced one day in advance the registration, so that was kind of chaotic.
yeah,
I thought Hartford would fill up. I wasn't on last week's sub takes, so I didn't get to say that. But I was very surprised that it didn't fill up immediately because it is one of the more popular regionals every single year, being so close to Boston and New York. This might be your one chance to ever see Kunal outside of his house or at the local McDonald's. So if you want to go meet
That's
Kunal,
true.
you should go to Hartford.
He's
forget
quite the
about
rare
Hartford.
encounter.
Honestly, you should just visit me at my local McDonald's. I'm there every day. You have a higher chance of seeing me.
This man is crazy, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, following up on the whole registration thing, I haven't registered for any other tournaments yet other than Portland. So I'll probably be doing Milwaukee. Just haven't signed up for it yet. But it is really nice. It's like they came out, like me and my friends were talking about, like, should we sign up for this or not? And then we like saw the barely filling up in the first week of signups being out, and we were like, nah, we're fine. Like we'll just sign up later. And so yeah, that's what we're probably gonna do. But
Mhm.
Also unrelated, but we are at 994 followers. So if y'all want to follow in chat, that'd be really appreciated. Get us to that big 1K.
Had a pretty good weekend of streaming. One thing to mention, I mean, this is going to be kind of segueing us into the next topic, the global challenge. But we had a couple of streams of that over the past weekend. So, if you guys want to go back and watch some of the stress, the ups, the downs of the global challenge, we did a lot of that yesterday on this channel. We did like a kind of like a 22-hour-ish stream. Yeah,
if we were
I was,
any more organized, it could have done 24 hours. But yeah,
Yeah.
22 is pretty good, I think.
We're talking about potentially doing a longer stream next IC, which will be in a couple weeks. So if y'all turned out for this one, we were averaging like 70 viewers for the entire stream, which is crazy. So really appreciate everyone turning out for our 22-hour stream, and I'm glad you all liked it.
Yeah, that was a fun time. And so let's talk about this global challenge. The results already live, kind of crazy. It's like so different than I don't know. We used to wait like weeks to find out who won these things.
Yeah.
But it's already live. We already know who won. We already know like the results. The results are kind of told to you as you're playing. And you can find those on Pokemon Home. Everybody loves this stupid app. Every time I opened it up, it just plays this like blaring music. Here, let's go ahead.
That did just happen. I did just open up Pokemon Home, and my headphones connected to my phone instead of my computer and started playing blaring music.
It hurts to open this app, and right now I can't sign in. It was yelling at me. But the results are on there. You can find out like usage stats for mons and stuff, which is also really cool. Maybe we can. I don't know if Audie's will be able to pull that up on screen because for some reason you can't do this on your web browser. I don't why can't. I don't know.
It's okay.
You can do it in game.
I'll just hold my phone up in front of my computer, okay, and then we can do it. In fact, I can even go to, I can even go to just my face, and then we can just hold it up like this, so you guys can all look at the
See the results.
Is Pokemon Home on the Switch?
Yeah, but I don't think you can see the battle data on it.
What?
I think it's just box management.
So it's just mobile.
Yeah,
see
I think
the
it's
stats.
just mobile. You can see the stats.
Yep.
Okay. Well, anyway.
What a lovely app, guys.
What a lovely app. But people have used that and the results, and it lists your regions and stuff to already talk about, what are the approximate, essentially, like, ratings you have to fit in between to figure out exactly how much championship points you earn. Remember, this one gives you 160 for first, and all the way down to, like, 5? I can't remember. I don't
Yeah,
have
all the way down
Yeah.
to 5.
I think it's
All right,
5
there
for
we go.
top 1024 is what it is.
Okay.
And so the way this works is obviously this is also really important for Asian players, at least for Japanese and Korean players, where their qualification for their national tournament is based on their rank in the IC. And so you will see a lot of Japanese players trying really hard. The Korean players, I think someone posted the standings. Nash posted the standings, or at least I saw Nash tweet about them. They were not nearly as high, but Japan really turns out. I think they need to finish top 50 in Japan to qualify, or top 100, something like that.
It's top So the way it works is there's three of these, right? Three global challenges. Each global challenge, 150 Japanese players move on into the main tournament, which is actually just a fancy name for another online tour, which is just 450 Japanese players. And then from there, top 64 gets to play in the live event, which is double elimination.
And so, as a result, Japan really turned out. I think I was looking through the rankings, and like every single cart between 61 and 151 was either Japanese or Chinese, or maybe Korean. It was crazy. So, as a result, I think you can place something like, yeah, you can see here, like if you finished 490th, you are probably getting top 128 championship points because all of the Japanese, Korean, all the ineligible carts are removed from the standings before they award championship points. So that includes players who registered to Asia, which includes TPC regions now. If you're like a Malaysian player, you can't get championship points, so you will be taken out of the rankings as well. It includes people who have not connected their Nintendo accounts to their ranking. And it includes anyone who played on multiple cartridges. And so I know some people, were like 1750 on two different carts when they were trying to see which one could get higher. That only takes the better of the two, and the other one is taken out of the rankings. And as a result, these are estimated rankings that Zach put together, but you get bumped up. As you can see, 169th place will probably get top 16 championship points. So
those numbers are so silly to me. I'm looking at it like 18th to 169th is the tier, the next tier down. Then that just is so absurd. But yeah, as Adi mentioned, there's a lot of uncertainty, double carts, people that aren't signed up for play points or whatever, or play Pokemon, whatever. I don't know, didn't link their accounts.
You can also play on a Japanese cartridge, but have that be registered to an American player, right, or something like that, like John. Paul Chua, I think, does that. I think Marco Fierro might have done that. And so these numbers might also be a little too high, a little too low, and maybe you have to be a little higher if some of those Japanese players are actually, or Japanese speaking players are actually from the Western countries. So that is also a consideration as well. So don't treat these numbers as gospel. Don't say, oh, I got 1721. I'm locked in for top 128 CP. It'll get posted eventually, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they do like a big announcement or something. It just like suddenly appears in your trainer club account. It's like, okay, well now I have this CP. They will tell your actual standing though, I think, with that. I think that's what they used to do, but I could be wrong with that.
Yeah. And so I guess on top of that, one of the concerns that we had for this event going into it was the fact that Pokemon with hacked moves were legal on ranked ladder for a while. I think they still are. So stuff like Expanding Force Hatteran was something that you could see on the Battle Spot ladder. And I'm curious if any of you guys saw that during your GC runs.
Yes, I sure did. So it's not just like any hacked moves. I believe what it is it's current gen moves, but they included the Sword and Shield's tutor moves. Or Isle of Armor moves, rather. Mm-hmm. So it's just that set of moves, so like Expanding Force, Grassy Glide, Dual Wing Beat, etc.
Okay.
I think Dual Wing Beat is there.
Whatever armor, yeah.
Whatever that set of moves is. And so I was like 6 or 7 games in, my 6th or 7th game, I load up into Spam, and it looks just like Alex Soto's team, right? Like Armor, Jindidi, Hatteran, Scarf, Annihilate is what they ended up bringing.
Okay.
So they lead Indeedee and Annihilate. They click Scarf Final Gambit and follow me. They double die, right? Then they bring in their Armor, Protect, Trick Room, and then they double Expanding Force with their Hatteran. And I'm like, how can I play against Expanding Force Hatteran? I wasn't expecting it.
Yep.
It was so stupid.
Got him.
And, maybe they get removed from the standings, but I don't get refunded the points that I lost.
No.
So
it's already done. It's already done the damage. It's already made its impact.
Yep. And I'm sure Expanding Force Hatteran may have been the most common, but I'm sure there were other moves as well.
Yeah, if you mentioned Dual Wing Beat, I kind of feel like surely some player out there like slapped dual wing beat on like, I don't know, Dragonite,
Dragonite,
or
yeah.
like
Yeah.
surely as a way to get better stab than just like having to Terra 100% of the time and having to Terra Blast. Not saying that it's like slightly better, but like dual wing beat does also go through Sash, so I feel like Banded D Knight probably picks up like Chen Pao with that. Like,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
no,
know,
it would be awesome. It would be so
it'd be
strong.
crazy good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, as a quick aside, the cheese stick poll finished, and it was an even 7-7. So they did not help us at all.
You
It
guys
is
are useless. Holy
a
crap!
clean split between healing and fighting. All right, I guess we'll just have to accept this as a draw.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
I will admit though, I also still voted.
oh, you voted nice.
So one thing I will say is that I pulled up the stats for Hatteran, and Expanding Force is not in the top 10 moves. So I actually kind of want to add these up to see what the percentage ends up being. Yeah, so Expanding Force, not super common. Kunal, just I guess you had the bad luck
Yeah.
of seeing it. I think maybe they did some they started eliminating those players at some point in the tournament because, or maybe they just don't include them in the usage stats. I suspect that they have a way to check, especially for a tournament as high stakes as this. Although I didn't hear anyone talking about it on like high ladder. I think I would have heard about it if someone faced it from like a player who was 1700s.
Yeah.
So
for
it
sure.
seems like overall this was pretty clean, even if there were some like occasional instances of it occurring.
And my guess is probably that whoever like, the players that used it probably got removed from standings, so their usage stats didn't count. I also would imagine that they tended to be pretty low ladder. I faced them like 6 games in or something. I was like, 1560, 1570. Not too high. So,
Yeah,
I
and like
didn't
also
play-
just low usage. Like these these are all like around 6%, which is like, yeah. Are you saying that like more than 6% of people are using a half Tatterine? And I don't know if I would say that, especially because of the worry that like nobody's that seriously competing is going to use an illegal Pokemon like that because of how it could jeopardize their account, their standing. They might not be able to compete at events, and I don't think anybody wants to risk that.
Yeah, and also like if you consider, how many players are playing in the IC overall, what percentage of them actually knows how to hack a Pokemon, right? What percentage of those people that know are willing to bring it to an event that, first of all, they may not know that it's legal, right? Second of all, they may think that they may get banned or penalized or something like that, right? So I would imagine the number of people that actually brought something like this is pretty low. If I were,
which is nice.
Yeah.
Which is
Which is
nice,
good.
but also really sucks.
I wish it
when you
was.
run into
I wish
it.
it was 0. I wish it was 0.
Yeah,
Well, speaking of mons that probably shouldn't have moves they're not supposed to have, Indeedee still has 50% Trick Room usage, and
love that.
that is still a part of the thing. Like I remember back in the early days, Japan's tours, like their grassroots tours, I think they like, didn't allow that move, and now I think we were just accepting it. Now they're not fixing it. It's just like it's there forever now. Like unless they do something about it, you're technically using a hacked move. It's like 50% usage too, but at this point we've gotten used to it. Like we understand that this was in the game since its inception, pretty much.
The difference is if you are using an Expanding Force Hatteran, it is definitely an illegal Hatteran. If you are using a Trick Room in DD, you can plausibly have gotten
You can
from
get
the
it in
event.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just about methods of attaining it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the Hatterines cannot be obtained legally,
yet-
whereas like
They didn't let me use
we
Hyper
are.
Pump Excadrill for some reason, and last year, and I'm pissed about that. That was the tech.
that would
Yeah.
have helped you beat Colossal. I think
True.
Excadrill has a poor Colossal matchup, and that kind of solves
I
it.
agree.
I'd pump
I
that.
agree.
Okay, but what if they set up the sun and then you can't one shot it? Then you just lose,
No,
right?
well then you max Geyser, so they don't one shot you back.
Yep.
This is the.
It's really just a 100-0 colossal matchup, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
this all makes sense.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, I don't know if there's too much more to discuss about the illegal Pokemon because they just weren't super present outside of specifically in Kunal's Nightmares. And so I guess we should talk about the teams and the placements. So like we said, we have the approximate championship point bars, but obviously this was kind of dominated by Japanese or Asian players. And so the winner was a Chinese player who Star Sapphire. And so they finished with a rating of, you can see, 1853. after 37 games and got first place. So yeah.
I think they went 31-6.
Yep.
And
Congrats
so
to them.
yeah, just a really impressive performance. I don't know. So this is the thing is like I don't know if they are registered outside of China, and so if they you know like they live in Europe or something. I don't think they do because I actually played them in NPA this week, and they had and they were in a very awkward time zone, and so so I don't think they have a like Nintendo account. But I also heard that they might be going to EUIC, and so maybe they are. I don't know.
Yeah, be on the lookout there. That otherwise, we saw like there's like a couple teams posted, plenty on Twitter, but kind of hard to sort through them all. I know that this Nasri VGC person got second with a double ground team featuring Garchomp Tinglu, that had Corbin and Chiyu, Fluttermane, and Amoonguss. Len made it to eighth place, but I think that ended up being like top 4 championship points. I'm not exactly
Probably.
sure.
Yeah, if you're cutting out the Asian region languages, yeah, I think it's about 4.
I swear I see Dr. Necro on Showdown all the time, so that's
Yeah, I saw the name in the standings, and I was like, I recognize that person from Showdown. I played against them a few times.
yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna search to see if I have a replay of them. Oh yeah, I have one of me playing against them. Let's see. Dr. Necro seemed to be using a Dondozo team with Glamora, Chiyu, Dragonite, and Iron Bundle. Okay. So yeah, just a Dondozo team. A Glamora Dondozo team.
We saw a lot
yeah.
of people using Luca's team from Fort Wayne Regionals. I know Luca himself, of course, finished 13th overall, and then I think I saw Akana using the team and someone else using the team as well to finish in the top 150. So that team was really common. By the way, look out for that team report. It's coming out tomorrow, or if you're watching on YouTube, yesterday. So that's exciting. But yeah, that team was very, very common.
Luca is just crazy. Apparently, this guy just can't be stopped. Best of 1, Regulation C, Series 2. This guy's awesome. Really cool to see so many strong results from Luca lately. It's a good year to be a Luca, I guess.
True.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to be Luka Doncic right now. That's not true. I would want to be Luka Doncic, but compared to other NBA players,
I was gonna say this is probably a reference to something I don't understand.
Yeah, I was like, this is not a Pokemon play.
man.
Okay, I got you, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, honestly, the results are not super populated. Maybe we'll come back and revisit it next time if they have more of them here. And I imagine that VGC Pastes at some point will get a lot of the teams in their compendium. So definitely check out their Twitter and the doc linked there for a bunch of these teams if you want to try them out for yourself. A lot of rental codes are going to be posted this week, especially after EUIC. Maybe there's some people saving them for when they, bust them out there. And yeah, just otherwise, a lot of cool teams. I guess we could I'm doing a quick scroll to see if there's anything crazy worth mentioning.
I think
a Scizor got 41st, Sand in 42nd.
There were a couple Scissors. There's one in 65th. There were a few trends that I noticed that we can talk about, I guess. The first is that Japan really likes Dondozo. Really, really likes Dondozo. There were a ton of them. Almost all of them had Glamora. A lot of them had the Wochen as well. I think James Beck tweeted saying that he did really well. He got almost 1,800. And he said he faced half his matches were Dondozo, 50%, which is absolutely insane. There were some. Apparently, he also faced a Specs Surf Dondozo. But yeah, just a lot of Dondozo. So I think that a lot of people were writing that archetype off, and it's clearly still around, even though it didn't do all that hot at Fort Wayne.
I heard Annihilate was also making the rounds in Japan.
Yep.
Yeah, Annihilate was used a lot. A lot of Japanese players were using Bullet Seed Amoonguss or Rock Blast Bronzong next to their Annihilate.
Some alternative methods.
Boost Range Fist and Trick Room, which is stuff that, typically you just see the mouse with beat up, and you don't see a lot of other multi-hit moves, but those kind of teams were really common this time around.
I gotta say, I forgot about 7th place. 7th place, there's not a lot to show for it, but there is one very important thing to show, and I also saw it down in 75th place. The Worm. If you guys were watching this weekend, you saw me worming it up, and it wasn't a great success. I'm so sad that they didn't post their team, because I want to know, like, well, how are you guys doing it? Because, like, I was on the right path. I thought this Worm guy was pretty cool right now, but didn't quite make a deep run with it. It's just so cool to see Orthworm, placing so high.
Yeah, I think people are kind of sleeping on Schlurm, to be honest.
The Schlurm!
The Schlurm. He's like... So Worm placed, like, it had a couple really good placements here. It's doing well, like, on ladder. I think that people are kind of sleeping on it.
Yeah,
I think that it's really good. I've been playing with it a little bit. You know, it's been a really good way to like kind of break the default core. So I think it's something that maybe people want to look at.
Yeah.
The default core being Flutter, Palafin, Arcanine, Amoonguss.
Yeah. Firewater, Grass, Flutter.
Yep.
I know Justin Burns was also using Orthworm in the IC and did pretty well with it, using the same team that Alex was using. I know that, I used that team in NPA, and I beat the #1 ranked player in the world, Star Sapphire.
Oh, of course.
Here we go.
I had to mention it. Hey, that was on stream.
We tried to stop him.
Watch.
Let the record reflect we tried to stop him. Okay.
That was during the 22-hour stream, so if you want to get a hint, that you can check that out. Sure. If you want to know what beats the team that Star Sapphire is using, it's Orthworm. That's the answer. Anyways, yeah, Orthworm had a big showing. The other Pokemon that I was thinking of, where was it? Lycanroc T-Tar. There was so much Lycanroc T-Tar out of nowhere, or just like
really?
I guess this guy's just using pure Lycanroc, but I just saw.
I gotta be honest, I saw 0 of those. I saw 0, so I don't.
I faced some.
I faced like 6 of them.
I would have that often, but I say I saw a decent amount. I know that there was a popular rental team in Japan using them. I think it featured, the standard sand core of T-Tar, Lycanroc, and then Mouse Ape and Ting-Lu Flutter, something like that. I think maybe you could see that somewhere in the top here, but I haven't found it yet. Another Pokemon that I'm seeing a bit of is Vivillon. Vivillon's just a fun one. Friend Guard, pretty valuable, as well as it's a ground immune. It's got a couple things going for it. Pollen Puff, pretty neat. Back to Sand, though. I mean, it kind of just makes sense. Like, rock types are well positioned into the popular offense cores that we see, mainly looking at Chi-Yu Flutter and Dragonite and Chien-Pao. They are 3 out of 4 weak to rock, and Flutter doesn't exactly resist rock. And so you just kind of click Rock Slide into those guys. And if you fight the Pokemon that aren't weak to Rock Slide, well, good luck moving. You're going to flinch, and I think that Sand, like, it's pretty well positioned. I don't know if it's good in best of 3 or not, but not that it's like a cheese strat. It's just like,
there's a lot of room for it to wiggle, I think, is what you're looking for.
You are clicking a 90% accurate move with a 30% chance to flinch. Like, sometimes you need things to go your way, and most teams aren't going to fold to such a telegraphed strategy.
Yep.
Yeah. Just to follow up on that, I do think like rock in general is just like crazy good coverage right now. I think I'm seeing like a lot more Ting-Lu start to run Rock Slide, which is just like a development that I think probably should have happened like around this time. So it's probably good that it's happening now. But I think you'll even see like random other mons are running Rock Slide. I faced some Dozo running Rock Slide, and I was just like, okay. Yep. They are just trying to flinch me.
I've seen on Great Tusk as well. It's starting on Rock Slide. I've seen a couple Iron Thorns around, low key. It might be good. Who knows?
Iron Thorns? Okay.
Iron Thorns, baby.
There was one Japanese player. They finished 165th, I believe, was their last screenshot on Twitter. And they were using I think it's the Dusk form Lycanroc, the red one.
Oh,
with
that's really
no guard,
cool.
And they were using Medicham to skill swap the no guard off of it.
Yeah. No.
Their...
That's Kotaro. That's Kotaro.
Yeah.
And
they were skill swapping no guard onto their Ting-Lu and then clicking Fissure. And they finished like high 1700s in the IC. So
he's so based. Yeah, that team. I was looking. I was like, dang, that's actually constructed no guard Fissure team. Like, you could probably get that most games. I want to say, and even if you don't, you do have like Rock Slides that don't miss. Like, that's still pretty crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That team is so funny.
There
I
it
can't
is.
believe it. I'm looking at it.
It's actually so good. I assume they're playing in Trick Room, right? It's probably just like slow Medicham, slow.
I don't know. I
everything.
looked at it and I was like, this is just they just try to get the skill swaps going, and if they don't, they just like mash attack buttons until it happens.
They have a rental code on their Liberty Note on their
Yeah,
on their
yeah,
on their
on
what's it
their
called?
Twitter
On their Twitter, yeah.
or whatever their what's it called
So
their little blog thing that they use. Hatena blog. I think it's supposed to.
it's just
Yeah.
the I don't know. It's not a ton of blog, but it's similar. But it is here.
Yeah.
So if you want to try it out, here is the Fissure team. the skill
Yeah,
swap.
they
Fissure
do
team.
also have Fissure Dozos. They have like 2 Fissure users.
Yeah.
They don't only just have one. They have 2. And Don Doza does get to sit and just click Fissure. Pretty crazy mod. Also, if you don't know who this is, like we still don't know who it is. Kotaro is the guy in 2015 who was running the Geomancy Power Herb Smeargle stuff and made day 2 off of it.
Yeah,
So
that's
there's
so
their
lit.
VGC history of the day.
Yep.
So lit. Also, Adi, if you want to pull up at this point, there was a number of funny stories replying to my tweet asking like what people faced in the IC. I'm just going to go through the highlights, not every single one, but I know that like people were fighting. Yeah, people mentioned like Annihilate plus Bullet Seed. Um, there was oh man, Luca played against Annihilate with Taunt. I like this one from Paris VGC, Scarf Florges. Anytime you see Florges, you know that you're gonna get
You're
cheesed
gonna get
really badly.
destroyed.
Yo,
Scarf Florges with Petal Blizzard, Weakness Policy, Terra Water Glamora. I'm just like, there's too many words already, but
yo,
you can imagine.
Okay. Someone said they lost to Weakness Policy Annihilate with the Scarf Florges with Trailblaze to proc, which also sounded crazy.
What the heck?
Yeah, I don't think this was posted here, but like I did hear about that from somewhere. That's one of the crazier things that I saw someone tweet about.
A couple of people said that they faced Shell Smash Torkoal, and I like honestly respect it. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Like in closed team sheet, not in open. Don't get it twisted. But oh, this one video reply was really good. Somebody faced against Leftovers, Rest, Sleep Talk, Fissure, Big Lou.
They're going all in,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. And
They said they were 1750s with it. Honestly, like it's just here to click one thing. This mod does one thing. I wonder if they even ran 8 for the deck. Oh, they said protect. They had protect.
They
They had
probably,
protect. Okay.
yeah. Because
Protect.
can you still call protect with sleep talk, or is that not a callable move?
I think you can call anything with sleep talk. I don't think it has moves
Okay.
that can't call.
I don't know. That's something to look into.
Pengi's situation was crazy. Did you guys watch that video?
No, I
I
did
did see
not.
that. So Pengi, I'm playing it on stream right now, but Pengi had a game where his opponent just didn't have Pokemon. I mean, they had 2 Pokemon in back, but they
Oh.
did send them out. I've seen this glitch before. I don't know how it comes up,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
It
so
seems
Ray-
most. Go ahead.
I was just going to say Ray Rizzo encountered the same glitch if you want to pull that one up after Audi. Been in a bit of a different situation.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like misinformation I'm about to spread, but I do feel like most of the glitches that like happen where like they don't have their mons or like your move selection screen doesn't go away and you can't click moves or whatever. I feel like that's usually tied to you like hitting an input as soon as the timer runs out on your move selection time. And then it typically like I don't know what happens. They have spaghetti code all over the place. And then it just like doesn't resolve. So then it just stays there. I feel like that's where most of it comes from. I can't obviously say for sure because in this case there weren't any move screens left on the field or whatever. But that's probably like what I'm thinking. There's probably some some weird like one little
That's
entry
what caused a
point
lot
for
of
it.
the like the early gen glitches. Like I think you have a clip like this, Audi, where you lock in your move and then your whole screen turns to like fire and you can't see what's going on, right?
hey, I've got a whole YouTube video of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those kind of glitches happen because you lock in your move like at the same time as the timer hits 0, like John was saying. But I don't remember anything like this happening, right? Like with with their moms not being sent in while still being alive or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know there's also there's a weird glitch where if your mon dies, your free swap timer starts when the mon dies, not when the turn ends.
Yeah.
So like
Oh.
if you kill something and then there's more moves happening in the turn, then you have less time to switch your Pokemon in afterwards.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I wonder if it's something like related to that with like getting a double kill or something like I wonder if it's something along those lines as well.
Yeah, like I'm envisioning like you get an early KO like on the first turn order, and then you have to play out the rest of the turn, and then there's like
Yeah.
a bunch of end of turn stuff, and then you finally get to send in your Pokemon. By that time, you've already probably exceeded 45 seconds. Surely, I feel like it's not hard to do.
Yep.
It's so weird that they have an internal time, like turn time timer. It also feels like it's a bit hard to make happen because most animations in this game feel sped up.
Yeah.
And so it has to involve like multi-hit moves, substitute, Terra, like a couple of things to just draw things out. But it is a very crazy glitch, and I do kind of agree with what Ray was saying in his tweet. Like, you know, these glitch-filled Wi-Fi tournaments decide who goes to Worlds in some countries. Like, there's a number of things that happened in this IC that are just so clowny for like an actual tournament that has increased stakes. You know, not just like Japan vying for their Worlds invites, but the 160 championship points on the line for everybody else. So much. There was the rampant disconnects as well that I heard this time around weren't even causing people to like lose points. Some people were just getting like voided games, which is just insane. Because then, like, once word gets spread about that, some loser is going to start trying to abuse it. They're going to start trying to like see like, well, I am going to lose this game, and I haven't disconnected once this IC. What's one little disconnect? Oops, I pulled the switch on this, router. And then, if they don't get punished for that, what's going to stop them from doing it again and again to just, farm rating to, like, move up in the standings? There are truly desperate people out there that will do stupider things. So,
Just reminds me of the Gen 5 ICs of Legend. Literally,
Yeah,
like,
so
you
much.
disconnect so many times, you're out of the rankings. And I hope that's kind of what happens here. But, like, again, there just not being a penalty is absurd. And it's like games not counting.
It's not a penalty, right? Because I
No,
played
no,
a
I
game
know.
where my opponent DC'd and I got points for it. But
No, I know. I'm talking specifically about the games where, like, nothing happens. Like, it gets voided.
And-
I feel
and
like
so-
there are a lot of those games.
it
don't
wasn't
know.
consistent.
I don't know how often it was. I know that I think Kyle and Ryan Lassetto played a game that got voided, but both of them said they were still connected to the internet afterwards. I was watching Ryan's stream when that happened. So
Oh,
Yeah,
they
that's right.
played each other? Or
played each other,
just
yeah.
like, okay.
and their game got voided, but they both said they were still connected to the internet. So I think that like I don't know this for sure, but I feel like the game probably still manages to figure out if someone like disconnects from the internet that it's on them. But sometimes the games just get dropped for whatever reason. And I hope, and like for what it's worth, if that happened because the servers suck or the game is spaghetti code, then the best case scenario is that it doesn't count for anyone, rather than randomly deciding who wins and loses. So
Sure.
ideally they wouldn't drop, but yeah, it seems like that's it's generally pretty good about deciding who gets points. I haven't heard of anyone saying like, yeah, I disconnected, was still connected to the internet, and then lost points for my game. The worst was that the game didn't count.
We haven't yet talked about the most absurd one, which is what happened to Santino. That is actually insane.
Yeah.
So Santino said that in the middle of a game that, unfortunately, also he was like on track to win. Just his game, the save data, or not the save data, but just it said his he had corrupted data. The game essentially uninstalled or deleted itself, and he had to re-download the game. Thankfully, still had save data, but literally the game was going so poorly that it self-destructed in the middle of his set. And honestly, I think like Santino still rallied back and managed to put up a pretty good IC run. Santino's known to do well in these things, but wow, that is like the worst one. Yeah. It's so funny. Also, wanted to mention a couple more of the replies. I guess like the last two to mention people talking about a surf Dondozo in the rain, just doing way too much damage, and then somebody else faced heavy duty boots, which I thought was inevitable.
So good.
Heavy duty
Let's go,
boots.
duty
is
boots.
Like it felt like it was inevitable that somebody was going to encounter it at some point because of Glamora and its toxic spikes, and like
The stealth
Nails was
rock
showing off
stuff. Yeah.
stealth rocks could be used, but just the IC being the one place to do it, I thought that was a bit of a bold call. Like that item's gonna be so useless, like 90% of the time, maybe more, but occasionally you get to own them.
Yo, everyone's vibing until the Wo Chen shows up in his Tims. Okay, like
The Tims. How does the snail even put on the Tims? Don't question it. Your toxic spikes, they are null. I
they
mean, they
are
don't get eaten,
null.
but they don't do anything to this guy. Um, yeah.
I'll also talk about the Surf Dondozo because I actually played it.
Okay.
And I was
Right,
running.
well, there's got to be multiple. There's got to be
No,
multiple.
I know. I'm sure it was like not like a one person thing, but like it was something I messed with went back in like series 1, like specs, not specs, but like Mystic Water Special Surf. It was pretty good for ladder anyway. But anyway, back to the story. I have Sunny Day Klefki, right? Just for like rain teams. So I like tossed out the Sunny Day, and they clicked Surf, and it still did like 80% to my mons in Sun, and I was like, what is going on? Like this has to be specs, bro. And then like I was like, okay, surely Armor Rouge in Sun can eat one Surf in Sun, and then he did not. So I
Oh,
lost
no.
the game immediately. And I was like, well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore because I can't beat Surf Dondozo in Sun. Those Sun boosted Surfs, man, it's crazy. But I do think that's like a really cool, like best of one, best of fun, closed team sheet team. I'm not gonna necessarily say it's very, like, I guess consistent because it probably means you're running a Rainmon. But at the same time, that whole team was just like 5 water types. So I don't know if you don't have like you don't have weather at all, they probably just run you over. Like it's probably a game over from that.
This, that, like, overall, I feel like this IC just feels so ridiculous with how many things, like, could have screwed people over that are, like, yeah, trying to, get the last couple points to get their Worlds invite. Japan's whole circuit is based around these tournaments, and all of these factors just make it such a clowny GC, global whatever, online competition. Like, it's just, they need to fix these games.
Okay, but at the end of the day, isn't that what we're all here for? To play some clown closed team sheet ladder tours
I
that
gotta say,
ultimately don't matter
the best, I mean,
for
like,
for us anyway.
VGC Twitter is great because, as a lot of people pointed out, day one is just like all kinds of people just like happy smiles, just like 14-1, I'm crushing it. This GC is mine. I can't lose. Day 3, everything is in shambles. Everyone is crying. Like
House is on fire. Like
yeah,
Oh, yeah. It's the Katesh meme, right?
yeah, pretty much. Like it just so many people feel like so good about it early, and then like everything comes apart like in those last couple days because that's when it gets the sweatiest. That's when people are playing most of their games. That's when people are going all out, and that's when obviously the results are concluding. So time is a major factor, and it's beautiful to watch. It's not beautiful to play. I was playing that day, and I'm just like I'm win trading. I'm ready to cry. Like, but
I
is
was having
awesome.
a good time at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abais has in
you were
chat.
you were using a fun team, John.
Oh,
True.
true. I
was
always
also
use
using
fun
a fun
teams.
team.
I only use fun teams.
And honestly,
That's a pro
like,
tip.
that's the thing. Like, okay, I'm saying this as someone who is like not in the day 2 race but has a Worlds invite, so I really like had nothing to play for and just approach this as I'm gonna have fun. But if you don't take it too seriously, if you're like willing to just play a fun team, you don't like if you're treating this as prep for EUIC. 1 is probably not going to be the best prep, and 2, like you are going to be stressed out the entire time. If you're like grinding, you need every single point for your Worlds invite. I totally understand. Like I've been there, like I was there in 2018. But if you are if you're just having fun, honestly, I had a great time playing, streaming it. We had the 22-hour stream was hold up, script the formatting. Here we go. The 22-hour stream went really well. I had a lot of fun, talking to chat. We had some fun games, and even though I didn't do exceptional, I didn't go on like a hot streak or anything. I did do reasonably well with a fun team. I know John, you were streaming as well. Alex, you were streaming too, but John, you were streaming. You did really well as well, using a more of a fun team. And so I think that's just the approach, the mentality that you have to go into these with.
Yeah, I do agree. Like it is not great practice as like
Yeah.
as it's been pointed out. Like the teams are cheesy as hell. I do want to mention one thing. Like, and this doesn't apply to Altair, but I mean, you know, it's top takes. We got to give our takes. This doesn't apply to all of Gen 9 and what have you, and like every facet of it. But like, so many people playing in the GC forget that like a lot of the issues of these cheesy closed team sheet teams are solved in a best of three, and everyone's just like, this is why we need open team sheet. This is why like I'm tired of like facing these memes, and it's like I feel like best of three solved like at least like 70% of this stuff, if
Yeah.
not more. And we haven't gotten to experience major tournaments closed team sheet best of three with Terra. We haven't seen a lot of tournaments like that, at least you know officially. And so that those are the ones like with the major stakes. But I just want to remind people that, you know, like we dealt with this for years, and best of three does kind of fix most of it. So like open team sheet isn't this, but this is also just because like I do miss closed team sheet a little
Yeah.
bit. Not even for cheese purposes, just to like run weird shit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Kind of
agree,
about-
but also I think you know, Terra as a mechanic kind of makes best of one cheese a little bit more effective, I feel like, in closed team
Mhm.
sheet. Right? Like you have like a gimmick on your team and you can cheese someone game one, and then like game two you can also Terra your cheese Pokemon and then cheese another game. You know, like that
Mhm.
kind of thing can happen.
For
So
sure.
I kind of get where people are coming from, especially when we're playing official formats in open team sheet. But yeah, I think I didn't think that I didn't think the game was so cheesy like in Series Zero, and we didn't really know that we had open team sheet. We were playing closed team sheet best of three still.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
like
think
the
game was
Gen
mostly
9
fun.
does put a wrench in the mix with the whole Terra mechanic and certain Pokemon too, like Dondozo, Annihilate, Mouse, whatever.
Mhm.
The side spam players that never accept open team sheet meme. But like regardless, I think that like open team sheet does have a number of benefits that like I'm not going to discount. So like I'm not trying to hear like to like pedal it super hard. I just want to remind people that like you're getting cheesed in the global challenge because it is best of one, not entirely because it is close team sheet.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
like a half a year or so, not even half a year. It's been 4 months, even three,
Yeah. Yeah.
of playing open team sheets has done to the community, and I just want to like remind people that best of three is also pretty sick.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
anyways, is there anything else that we need to talk
I'll
about?
follow up on that one more point. Is that
Go
like
ahead.
even though Terra is like this thing that you can just put any type on any mon, and it's like the closed team sheet nightmare. I think if you look at most of the top usage mons in home right now, like I'm thinking Fluttermane, Dragonite, like even like Chimpao, I think those are the like top 10 somewhere. They're only sticking to like one or two Terra types. So like you can still feasibly assume that
Right.
that Flutter is probably Fairy, and if it's not Fairy, it's probably Steel. Like, so you can still make educated guesses based off of your opponent's team comps. But then again, like you have those other volatile ones, like Psy Spam is like the I guess the poster child, right? Because you don't know if it's
And
Flash
Dozo,
Fire,
too.
you don't know if it's Weak Armor, you don't know if they're Trick Room or their Speedy Weakness Policy. Okay, there's like a bunch of other stuff you can do, but that stuff all like unfolds the moment they reveal it, and then if you're playing best of three, it's like way more doable. But I do appreciate like open team sheet is just a more, I guess, here are my pieces and let's just figure out ways to beat each other up. Like
Mhm.
it's like something that appeals to me as like a player, not like a cheese player, because I think a lot of people think I'm like a cheese player or something.
You are a cheese player, yeah. No,
I
that's,
think
But
you're-
I can also cheese you honestly though too.
damn,
like-
it's true. It's true
Like
though.
at not like Knoxville. No,
He
sorry,
did
at
go
Fort-
9-0
at
with
Fort-
what I would
like
call
at Knoxville, that is pretty cheese, right? And like they can
Yeah.
see the team sheet. There's like some mental damage there too, of course. But like at Fort Wayne, like my last round, the guy rolled up and he was like, I have no Armor Rouge matchup. And I was like, yep, sounds like you lose. And he did in fact lose. So like you can still play the game with cheese, honestly. It's like something you can do, but it might be like more of an art that I've perfected over time. Because
Mhm.
like at this point I've played so much Pokemon that people feel like they understand what I might be going for, but then they never do because I always mix it up.
Yep. Yeah, no,
No,
that-
not yet, Swizzle Drizzle, but
Team
maybe,
sheet,
maybe.
Team sheet literacy is an important thing. I remember a number of people were looking at like Nails' like stealth rock team, which isn't even as crazy as what John was cooking, but like people were just like, "What are they doing here?" Like, and yeah, you can still definitely pull off some creative stuff in Open Team Sheet. It's just a matter of building something that people aren't familiar with. It's actually advice that Gavin always like gave a while ago, and I don't. I sometimes try to follow it best I can, but he said that it is usually better to pick a team that is outside of the meta because then every time you play against something that is like common, you have this matchup familiarity, whereas they don't. You know that like they are going into the first game figuring out the matchup, and you are going into the first game thinking, "All right, this is how I'm going to approach it," and then I'll adapt to their play for games 2 and 3. And yeah, I like you also see it with Gavin's teams. Like nobody else is running exactly what he's running. They're running it after he runs it. You know, they're copying him after he shows that it's good. Yeah, David Kutesh is another great example.
Mhm.
Yep.
Or we've mentioned
My
like
belly
you know
bolt
Kotaro
king.
too.
The belly
Kotaro
bolt
is
so
also
sick.
one of those.
Hmm.
I don't know.
No,
Every
John,
time I saw Belly Bolt on
okay, no,
stream,
that's a further example.
What?
Those teams are insane.
what Kotaro teams, dude, they're
Yeah.
based. I don't know what you want. Like they work. The guy
The-
makes them work.
You look at Gavin's teams and like they're like, oh, that's like a little bit different than what we've been seeing, but like I get it. Those are all good Pokemon. You're using them just in a different combination than what we've expected lately. But no, that I'm not talking about Geomancy Smear.
What do you mean? That
Yeah,
was so real. It was Geomancy Heart Swap. That's 2 moves restricted Pokemon can have.
it was pretty awesome.
What
Well,
does
no, one of
Heart
them's
Swap
just a-
do, John?
Heart Swap swaps all stat changes. So you would just
So
it's
you
like
can
Baton Pass,
Geomancy
but-
and swap your Geomancy to somebody else.
Yeah, yeah.
It's effectively
on the field,
side
okay.
baton pass
Gotcha.
Yeah.
for stats.
It's like reverse psych up. I
You could
see.
also give it to your opponent if you wanted to. Not that you'd really want to, but maybe
I
they
mean, you
boosted.
could take their stuff, you know?
Or maybe
they-
you got like a Moody accuracy drop and you want to give them that.
Oh, that's true. That is funny.
I don't think he actually ran Moody though. To be honest, I think he was own tempo or whatever.
I think so for consistency.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and to not get attack drops, right?
true.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. That was definitely a thing back then.
Man, I just want him back, guys. I just want Smeargle back, guys. I'm sorry I have to say it.
Oh gosh, this is
I
a
just want
tub
that.
take, a certified tub take. You know?
It's okay. The ad's playing. They can't hear me.
Oh no,
That's true.
all the subs can though, and they are unsubbing as we speak.
No.
Now, I guess that's gonna do it for the GC. We'll get a better idea like later exactly where everybody finished when those championship points get put into people's accounts and such. And you know, this is the first of a couple. Like, there's 2 more of these that will be kind of deciding Japan's whole circuit. So look out for those later in the year.
I believe it's in 2
People are gonna
weeks,
be
right?
swinging.
Literally 1 and 2 weeks.
I think
And
we
then
can-
It's
the other
2
one is-
weeks. So wait,
Yeah.
are you saying like I'm going to London and then the week after that?
Yes.
Playing in a
It's a
GC.
GC.
And then
Mhm.
you
I
have
don't
a
know.
week
I
off.
don't know.
2 weeks
I don't know if
after
I'm playing. I don't know if I'm playing in GC. That's a lot. GC, London GC.
Yeah.
Ah,
The,
That's-
the next
Alex
one,
is not built for this.
the next
That
one after
sounds
that
awful.
is the weekend of Portland Regionals, and so if you're going to Portland, that's going to be really difficult.
if you're going to Portland, feel blessed because you are playing for real championship points and not this stupid Mickey Mouse
What
stuff.
do you mean? It's honestly you can get as many championship points in the GC as you can at Portland Regionals. Like, is it harder to get second at Portland Regionals or harder to get second in the GC or first in the GC? That's what I want to know.
Probably harder to get first in the GC. I want to say.
Yeah, okay, yes, it is. But only because Portland is West Coast and West Coast events are free.
True.
Hartford Regionals might be harder to get second place. I don't know.
That is a good point, Nerd. Now I feel like I know at least like 2 people who are doing the Charlotte to Fort Wayne to GC to London to GC.
I think James Evans is literally doing that, and he's. already top right now,
I think
so.
Nails, right? Maybe Nails.
Nails
Yeah,
is
Nails
doing
is doing it.
Oh my god.
Kyle is doing it, I think.
Y'all are
And
crazy
this-
for this one.
I at least had Charlotte off, but I'm in the rest of that.
Nails wasn't at Charlotte, was he? No, he wasn't at Charlotte.
Oh, was he not?
Yeah, he wasn't.
Oh,
You're
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah,
Then I
no,
guess
Nails
he's
wasn't in
missing.
Charlotte.
Yep.
Okay.
I think
Man.
Joe UX9 is doing all of them, right? He's
well, of
he's
course.
going to every
Joe's
NA
like
event.
going everything. This is like his job,
Is
right?
Jody
Like,
going to London? I actually don't even remember.
No, he's not.
I
Okay.
think so.
It's important to know who isn't going to London because that's our next thing. We're going to be talking about London.
Yeah, I
And
didn't know
we
who the
eventually
smart money is before
we
I
eventually
get
got to
there,
pick a smart money. I forgot mine from earlier, but now I remembered it. Okay, thank goodness. It would have been awful if I had to think of it on the spot again.
Oh no. Okay.
Hopefully everybody's come prepared and has some backup plans in case anybody steals them. We'll of course let our guests go first, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the difficulty of this stupid thing. Adi came up with this meme, so if you guys don't like it, that's on him. But if you do like it, I'll take part of the credit if you want. Um, even though
how many different
even though
fissure
I had-
animations
even though I had
can you
nothing to do with
spot?
it. Are they actually all different? I feel like only two. I think there's two.
There's
I think
four.
only two.
There are three. There are three.
I think there's 4.
Maybe.
Okay, like I feel like the ones on the left column are all the same.
No.
Oh wait,
No.
no, the Machoke one is different.
No, they're definitely
the
not the same.
Machoke and the Rhyhorn is the same. The Darumaka is
I'll
different.
gift a sub to the first person in chat who can tell me what they're talking about. I have no clue, man. I'm lost.
We've
Talking
opened
about fissures. We're talking about fissures.
We've opened the difficulty rating announcement tweet.
Oh, okay.
And Adi rated this regional 5 out of 8. It's really a 5 out of 5, but Fissure is just the hot topic. You tweet out Fissure, get 1,000 likes. Yeah, Fissure is, or sorry, not Fissure, but EUIC. We're rating a 5 out of 5 difficulty. I maybe could have seen it being a 6 out of 5. We're gonna have to see how big this thing ends up being, but it's going to be a very stacked tournament. I believe there are around 870 masters registered. I saw that number floating around on Twitter earlier.
Wait, what's that?
Big.
I thought it was
it's,
870
10
total.
870 masters registers. What I heard. Let me. I'm registered for this thing, so I can open up the dashboard and see. Victory Road has it as like 1,028 or something. There's all kinds of numbers being thrown around. So let's just take one of them and say it's guaranteed a fact, and say that it's 920 is on the website on Arcanine. But that's like I think all divisions. So
Yep.
I like 870. 870
Yeah.
sounds like the most reasonable number. Around 870 masters are attending.
So
And
this is important because if you have 800 masters, of course, you get top 56 points. And for a regional, that's 30 points, whatever. For an internats, that's 80 points, and that can absolutely make or break your season. So it does actually really matter if it's 800 masters or if it's under that. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing around a 10% no-show rate at all of these, and so 870, unfortunately, that's going to lose, 87-ish players, and that would dip just below. And so, with that, we're probably not going to get the top 256 CP, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. As for difficulty, I think that this is going to be a pretty hard one. It's, the first... I just looked at the Twitch chat.
Yeah. What do you mean? Did you want me to click Fissure 30 times in game until I hit them 5 times against different Pokemon? No. Of course I'm gonna.
That's the burden you signed on for, buddy.
Yes, John, who would have done that?
You literally even had the day off. You literally had the day off.
It was
so guys, would it have been better if we did 5 turns of rain out of 5? Because that's the one I wanted to do, and I was cooking it up, but then Adi already started working on the Fissure one, and
I asked you.
Always got to go for the
you said
lowest
this one was
hanging
funnier.
fruit.
I think this one was funnier because we got to make fun of Audie,
that's true. Big plus.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were talking about the difficulty of this tournament. I think that North American players are going to say that NAIC is the hardest tournament, but I think that this is the hardest tournament of the year by far. Not including Worlds, of course, but I think that this one is going to be a real challenge. There's a lot of players traveling from North America, from South America, from Latin America, from Australia. It's just like everybody is going to be at this event.
This is definitely going to be a hard one. I honestly don't even disagree that this one is going to potentially be harder than NAIC. The only thing that makes me think that NAIC might be harder is that it always has that last event of the year kind of lock on lock, and so because it's that last one, Worlds invites are just so sweaty and everything, and
Yeah, yeah.
so that's like a real factor. But like they're both very very contested tournaments. I feel like
Hmm.
especially comparing like London versus Columbus, Ohio. London is a much easier city to get to, and
Mm.
so we're going to see a pretty strong global attendance for this one. At least if they were able to sign up, it did cap, and yeah, it is the first one of Regulation C. There is an established metagame. We have had the Global Challenge. We've had the Ladder Live. Now we had Fort Wayne. But I still think this is going to kind of just like set the ground set for everything we're going to be seeing after this. A lot of people are going to be looking at this tournament, and
Yep.
so many of the archetypes are going to be kind of established at this tournament.
Yeah. I think if you were to compare this meta to like other metas, this is like it's still a baby. Like nothing has really settled. Some teams are seeing a lot of success, and some cores are like really successful. But like I think the only thing that most people have kind of agreed on, like based on usage and stuff, is that Fluttermane's broken, and like that's kind of it. Like, and even then, there's still innovation there too. So we'll see what happens with what happens in Europe. I mean, 900 people. That's a lot of room for like variation, but I would not be surprised to see like Flutter #1 usage, like Chenpao Dragonite top 5 usage. Like it's probably gonna happen, but we'll see if anyone can make any actual innovations with other stuff or maybe like improve the current cores that are already running around.
Yep. I think this tournament, more than Fort Wayne, more than the Global Challenge, is really going to kind of set the stage for the rest of the year, the rest of the format.
Mm-hmm.
I think the teams that do well here are solidified as like teams that you will likely see at NAIC, likely see at Worlds if this is our same format at that time. So
Probably not for Worlds
Yeah.
unless they like go back on that one.
I think that
is Worlds a different format?
They said NAIC is like the I think this format lasts until June, the end of June, and then
Okay.
NAIC is like the last of June. So
Got
that's
it.
their
Wait,
last.
I didn't hear this. Like, so wait,
Yeah, yeah.
are we like with
Regulation
what
C.
degree of certainty are we thinking that World's gonna be a different format? Because that would be
No,
brand new.
I'm not certain at all.
Worlds
but
will be
I'm just
Regulation
saying.
D officially. Whether or not that is different from Regulation C is unknown.
That's true.
The DLC is very unlikely to have come out by then, so it is unlikely that they will include those Pokemon. And so the most drastic change they could reasonably make is adding the Pokemon Home Pokemon to the game to the VGC, which may or may not happen. It genuinely might. Now we might suddenly have is Incineroar in the game? Like,
No, I don't think
Okay.
he's even in the code.
okay, so then maybe we get like the Hisuian Pokemon and some
We're
of the,
getting Hisuian
uh,
Typhlosion, baby.
and like some of the random starters.
Give me the Ursaluna. That guy sounds so cool.
And some
Oh,
of the
Pokemon.
some of the missing items as well will be available
Oh.
once Pokemon Home comes.
Yeah, everyone's looking for Fairy Plate, right?
Kunal
Yeah,
did
Pixie
say
Plate.
that
Please give me-
as soon as
please,
Pixie Plate comes
God.
back in the game, he will start playing VGC again.
Please God, give me the Pixie Plate back.
Pixie Plate, I think Keyberry and Moronga Berry
I
are
was
going to
gonna say
be
those
Yeah, they're
berries,
out as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. Even like we were looking at Jaboka and I don't even remember the other one.
Oh
Those
god,
are, those are
we
the
were
ones
gonna
that
run
cause
Jaboka
recoil
Berry.
damage.
We were gonna run Jaboka Berry at an actual regional. Man,
Jaboka for set regulation D. Call that Jaboka D's nuts. Okay.
Jaboka these nuts. All right,
Ooh.
we are getting super carried away.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
talking about a format that definitely
doesn't
does
even
not
exist.
That
But-
definitely doesn't exist.
Well, we were talking about how EUIC is going to establish the metagame. That's how I felt in 2022. I think that when we were doing our prep, we had a hard cutoff in terms of pre EUIC. You could kind of get away with anything. Post EUIC, there were a bunch of established teams that you had to prepare for. And I think it's probably going to be something similar. Obviously, it's still really early. People are still going to be innovating on the format, figuring out new techs as the format goes on. But people are putting a lot of work into doing well at this tournament because it is the biggest tournament in Europe of the year. And so it's not surprising that a lot of archetypes, I think, are going to come out of this tournament. I think it's just going to establish the metagame. Also, notably, we talked about Fort Wayne. We kind of looked at the standings a few weeks ago. I talked to Luca. We have the interview coming out tomorrow on the YouTube channel. He was saying he and Ashton built their team that they both got day 2 with in the car ride. And they were just we got to figure out what we're running because they were both busy the week between Charlotte and Fort Wayne. And so it's just hey, this is a good stuff team with a bunch of mons we know how to use, that we know are powerful. and it did really well because it gave them the room to outplay opponents. That is not going to be viable after week 1, I think. I mean, Luca's team is still very good, but that approach to team building that I think a lot of people took, where it's like, hey, we just got to use the good mons. No, it needs to be a little more coherent of a strategy, I think, and that's the team. Those are the teams we're going to see succeed at EUIC.
They do say though that the best team is the one that's built last, because yeah, I don't know. It's just like the meta is just like developing so fast with how online things are nowadays and the ladders and everything that sometimes the spiciest teams are built, the night before. Yeah, we've got a lot of past results to look on. We were just talking about 2022's EUIC won by Eric Rios with, wouldn't you know it, Rinya Sun, a team that kind of dominated the rest of the year. And looking at some of the other teams at the top here, these were teams that players were kind of innovating on for like pretty much the remainder of the season. Like the Torn Ogre.
You see Cassie's team. He got second at Worlds with the same team, basically, right? Like,
I don't even remember what Cassie's 6 were, but I know that it was a Lunala Groudon team. So like, people kind of found their like comfort picks, their archetypes that they like, and said like, this is what we're going to be doing. And yeah, we see like it was a bit of an early one, but Calyrex Ice making a good showing here. That was a mon that got a lot more played later. I think a better example of it might be the team in 11th place. But like, and then also right below that in 12th was the French Rain. Like there's just like so many teams that got like established at this tournament.
And even if they weren't like super common, like Alex's team that was the Reshiram Cali Ice did do really well at Indianapolis a couple weeks later. It did, and then I think Alex used the same archetype to get day 2 and I think top 16 at NAIC a few months later. I don't remember any Reshiram Calyrex Ice doing super well at Worlds, but like this was an archetype that he found comfortable with, and then he did well at this event and then several events moving forward. Not everyone stuck to the same team, but a lot of people did, and so it did. It kind of set the stage, whereas that was not the case at many of the early events in 2022. I think, except for like Agati, who had built his team and then used it for the entire year. No one else really built a team before EUIC that they got to use for the rest of the format.
Looking at the 2019 EUIC won by Pato, I'm looking at this and I gotta say, like Pato's team was actually a bit of a spicy one. I don't remember where we were in the meta.
This was week 2 of Ultra Series, because week 1 we had Florida Regionals, and the next week we had this tournament, and so this was super early in Ultra Series.
Yeah. So if you want to compare, this is probably like as close as you're gonna get to like what we currently have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that does assume that we have a bunch of boomers watching, and everybody, back then was, or watching now is playing back then.
Yeah, pre-Dynamax babies. Does anyone actually exist from the pre-Dynamax era?
No, they're all boomers. And so, yeah, a lot of these teams, people aren't even, like, gonna totally get, like, what was even the legal pool of mons. But we see, a lot of the players that you can expect to do well as well. Like, we all kind of have our smart monies, but like a lot of these players are going to be the ones to watch out for. Definitely looking at 7th place Chemo. Chemo is a big threat. I know that Chemo has been very confident for UIC and has not been, doom posting in our server. So,
number one that he's doing okay.
But Chemo's team does look a lot like the team that Wolf won nationals with, and NAIC with, like a couple months later. So it did kind of shape the meta in that respect.
Ray Ogre. Ray Ogre was one of the ways that you could play 2019 for sure.
Man, I gotta say the color synergy of that team is immaculate, though.
Yeah, it kind of double dips on green, doesn't it?
Okay, Ferrothorn's more of a gray.
It's true.
You know what?
Ferrothorn could be a Celesteela. I think that would make the color synergy better, right?
Okay, sure.
The
first 5 are good though.
People don't ask this in our streams, but they will be asking it in the official stream. Where's Wolf? I don't, because I see Wolf here. I don't think Wolf is going, as far as I've heard. I think Wolf is not doing any of the like other internets this year. Like he didn't do Oceania, and I heard that he wasn't going to be doing EUIC. Not 100% certain on that one, but just something to keep in mind for anybody that's going to be picking their own smart monies in the chat or what have you. Then we had Sanvi won back in 2018. This was
This is
the
2017.
2017 format. It was the 2017 format. The second London. This was actually kind of a funny situation. We could, if you want to like look at both of the two simultaneously, Audie. Like, this was such a funny dynamic with these two Londons because it was literally like the first tournament of the format and the last tournament of the format. The two of them. I think there might have been some regionals post EUIC, but like the 2018 one. But I think like these were basically like two of the last, or like that was like one of the last tournaments, and then London was like the first major of 2017.
Yeah. The quirks of scheduling international championships around your game launches is that you might get a double dipping format, but it's pretty rare. I don't know if even in like the old era, I say old, but I mean like Gen 6 and before that. I'm not even sure if any of those tours like
Gen
had
6 is
double
old.
dipping.
Gen 6 is old. It's old now. I started.
It is
Gen
old now,
6,
yeah, I suppose. It's like 10 years ago, right? Like,
I mean, it is
that's pretty
basically
old.
ancient. But yeah, I don't really know what to say about these because mainly these are tournaments that were so long ago that most people we would be talking about formats that are just like dead. And so
Hey,
I'm trying to avoid that.
Desu got second at one of his, I think his first major events ever, right? And now he's a mainstay. Actually, that's not true. He's old, right? He won at nationals, but I don't know. Maybe I'm capping.
A lot of top players like Carson got top 4 at the 2018 one. Alex Gomez got second.
Gomez.
Um,
Pato's
David
up there,
Ferrer,
and he of course
Pato,
won international next year.
Nils.
There's Yuri, there's Edu.
Yuri was in the other one as well. In
Ray Rizzo.
2017.
Ray Rizzo, hello. Ray Rizzo went to this
Ray
event.
Rizzo, stop at 3-7.
Nothing.
Was this the
That was
last
the
event he
year
went
that-
to? Was this the last
I don't know if
event
it was
he's
the
ever
last
gone
event
to?
he went to, but this was a part of the year where Ray Rizzo and we've talked about it a couple times on the podcast, I feel like, but yeah, this was the year that Ray Rizzo, he was doing well, and he started the season getting 370 championship points out of a bar of 400 points to get a Worlds invite, and he just stopped attending any tournaments at 370. And like he was like maybe doing commentary. I'm not sure if he was in Japan or not, but he just stopped. It was heartbreaking because he made like a big deal, like this is the comeback. Ray Rizzo's back, and we were like, "Go Ray Rizzo, we love you!" And then he just stopped right shy of a Worlds invite. Could have
When
showed
the
up.
world needed him most,
Well,
he disappeared.
I thought so. He
No,
did
it was
so
definitely
well.
it was definitely 370. Nerded out.
He won the travel award to Oceania Internets, right? Because he did so well at EUIC, he did so well at all these American regionals, and then he decided that he didn't want to play that 2018 format. He didn't like the 2018 format, is what I heard, and so he just went and commentated instead, and didn't take the travel award, which is crazy.
I didn't realize. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that was also funny. I didn't realize when the Play Pokemon announced Ray Rizzo as the final boss, they said, "Our final boss is making his comeback. Get ready. Ray Rizzo will stop at nothing." Oh, it's so good. I'm trying to find the image that has the 370 on it, but I can't. But yeah, I did find a tweet from JJ saying like, please don't do a Ray Rizzo and stop at nothing 370. Yeah, this is just so funny. It was a great meme from back in the day. But yeah, with that said, a lot of old tournaments to look at. I think we all at least have smart monies in mind, and so with that, let's move on to it. Kunal, we're going to start with you. It's your first time here on Tub Takes, and who are you smart moneying for EUIC?
Oh, okay. I think I am going to pick a European player.
Okay.
For the European
You
Championship.
thrown me for a loop because you asked earlier, like, do we know all the NA players going? And I was like, all right, he's picking NA for sure.
It's the mix-up. The mix-up.
And then he just does this to me. Okay, go ahead.
I think it would be a little disrespectful of me not to pick Eric Rios for smart money at this tournament.
All right. Eric was my backup plan in case somebody picks my original one. I like it.
There's a lot of people, so I'll come back at the end and kind of list off some of the people I was thinking of. But yeah, I'm gonna lock in Eric Rios.
I think enough people, myself included, have been sleeping on Eric, and he's just been doing really well with teams that like you kind of expect. Kind of, I don't know. He just consistently proves that he I don't know, his play style is just so strong, and he knows how to play to it with the teams that he selects, and so I like that pick.
Bruno, thank you for
John.
this up. Appreciate it.
All right, John, who are you smart moneying?
All right, I've been thinking about this for like a couple minutes now. I think I'm gonna go with Alberto Lara.
Alberto,
Because here's my reasoning. I like met with him at Fort Wayne, and I like even talked to him like before the tournament happened. And he was just like, "Man, I'm just not confident about this format. I'm totally lost. Like,
Good start.
I'm gonna like use Fort Wayne as a testing grounds to see what's really good, and then like hunker down for EUIC." I was like, "That's probably a good idea." And then he just day twos anyway, casually, like using his same stuff, and I'm just like, "Okay, well." I think you probably now have a better idea on how to make improvements, so I'm gonna put my faith in him that he has made adjustments for EUIC and that he will crush it at this tournament after being kind of like second fiddle at OCIC there.
What I like about Alberto is kind of like I was mentioning with Gavin earlier. Alberto's using teams that not everybody else is using, and even if you do know what Alberto's using, he's just confident enough that he'll be able to outplay you.
Yeah,
And
he has
so,
so many hours logged on his stuff. Like,
yeah,
I don't think you're ever outmatching him, and he has like so much matchup knowledge that you just can't even match unless you literally like labbed his team day in day out for the like your whole practice. Like,
yeah, and that's the problem is like you can't just prep for Alberto. Like you can't just prep for a single person. That's just a poor way to prepare yourself. You're going to end up at the 1-2 tables if that was the matchup you were only concerned with. All right, Adi, why don't you give us yours?
I still got my backup on the table, so you can go.
Okay, I did lose my backup, so I will take this opportunity. And that is Alex Soto. I see people mentioning in the chat.
let's go, Alex.
So hopefully I stole that from Adi.
That was my pick. Yeah. So I'm glad.
Let's
I'm glad I let you go first.
Yeah, the guy keeps getting second. Just crushed the global challenge with some more crazy stuff, and kind of like what I was saying about with Alberto is Alex Soto uses teams that like you can't dedicate your whole prep to beating. And even if you do, he probably just knows the matchup way better than you and is going to crush you anyway. So it's a type of team that just rolls players because he's just so experienced. And I definitely would be feeling confident picking Alex Soto to make it to finals. But for this purpose, smart money, I do think he'll win.
Yeah. I mean, that was obviously my smart money. He did really well in the IC, so like it's not going to be surprising, and he's been grinding the same team since Series 1. So like it seems like he still has a very strong place in the metagame. I know John Who will attest to Spam's strength in the metagame. So
nobody's caring for it, bro. They don't have their psychic checks.
I think that he is a really good pick. My pick, however, is going to be better than that because it is Gabriel Agati is going to be the first non-European to win European Internets. He didn't do too well at Oceania, but I know he is just such a talented player. He got second at NAIC. He's cut worlds. Like he is too good to not to not show up. And obviously living in Latin America, living in Brazil, he doesn't have a ton of events that he can go to, which means he's had all the time in the world to prepare for this event. I think after Natal Regionals, which was like over a month ago, so I'm sure he's been grinding. He's such a good player, and I think this is his breakout performance in 2023.
Good pick.
All right, I like this. I like this pick. I think we've got I didn't realize when Adi was talking there that I mean it makes sense, like London always being won by a European, but I think that Agati definitely could make it as long as he has a team that he's like been spamming. He's the type of person to just kind of stick to something and learn it in and out. So maybe he took his Series 2 stuff and adapted it. We'll see. I haven't seen what he's cooking in Regulation C, but I like the pick.
All right, Kunal, you said you had more to say about your who you think is going to do well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's just like so many insane players this year.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to call it a few by name, right? Marcus, I think, is going to be there, right? Marcus has been doing insanely well recently. He won, I think, one of the European regionals
Baka,
recently.
yep.
Yep. And he's just been so consistent. He's constantly coming up with new things every tournament that we see him at. So I think he's really good. I wanted to call it Desu. We talked a little bit about Desu a little while ago. He has been doing insanely well in NPA. He's been grinding this format. He did pretty well in the Global Challenge, I believe. He took I believe he took a few-year break during Sword and Shield, but he's back. It feels like he's in full force. I don't know for sure if he took a long break. I think he was playing early 2020 and then he stopped or something like that. But
He got second, or he won a one of the big Rose Tower events in 2020.
Yeah.
And then he won he got third in the Players Cup 1, and then won the big Rose Tower Championship. So he did really, really well in the regional decks in 2020. He did really, really well in the regional decks in 2017. And so I think that's where he stands out the most, and it would not shock me for him to also do really well at this in this regional decks format.
Yep. And then Oliver as well. I want to call out. He's going to do well. That's just what he does, right? He goes to events. He does well.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that.
Anyone that uses Orthworm also on my list.
Oh, true.
True. Sounds like Alex has got his team.
Any
Yeah,
Orthworm
we gotta
players.
lock it in.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta say that this year it feels like there have been so many players showing such great consistency that it's been an awesome year to watch. As a spectator, both as a player too, just the storylines have been awesome, and I think that this is going to be such a competitive tournament as we were saying.
Yep. Definitely. I'm hoping that we get some insane stream matches early on. I think they're just going to be so fun to watch.
Well, yeah, let's see what they do with this. They kind of dogged us on the Fort Wayne stream, man.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess on that note, while we're talking about EUIC, it's probably worth pointing out that we have a new caster. I think this is Costa's first time casting a official events. Obviously, EU is a little different because they don't have official streams for regionals, and he's been doing a bunch of the Victory Road streams. So it's really cool to see him getting a chance on the big stage casting EUIC for the first time.
Yeah. Costa's awesome. If you watch any of the Victory Road tournaments, or I think he casted World Cup as well last year. He's been around the scene. He's a great guy. His casting is very entertaining. He's very enthusiastic about it. So really looking forward to seeing him on the stage.
And I also forgot to mention that, and I saw several people doing it already, but yeah, do leave your smart monies in the chat here, because then when the video gets posted, you can point back to it and say, oh, I knew this person was going to win. I called it. So that's exciting. And yeah, I think we usually mention it at the end, but I can mention it again now that, of course, this will be posted on YouTube later. So do look out for that on the CK49 channel. I'll drop the little. All right, yeah.
Too late. I already got that.
Yeah, I already got it. I mean, Adi loves this shit. Adi
Yeah,
loves.
he's always
Speaking of shilling, we got Luca's team report coming out tomorrow. This is super hype. I think Nails called it the best team in the format in Fort Wayne. So
Didn't he literally say this early already?
Yeah. I gotta. Hey, Alex mentioned me shilling, so I gotta keep shilling.
This guy is nonstop shilling. And by the way,
Absurd.
did you know that he beat the Global Challenge winner in NPA this week? Wow, this guy's so crazy.
Hey, listen, I'm undefeated in Regulation C in NPA. Okay, just so everyone's aware.
So why can't you translate that to in tournament?
That's true.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of everything we wanted to cover this week. Kind of ran through it a little bit quickly. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to mention them now. We can talk about them. We'll maybe hang out for a little bit longer before we get going. But yeah, if you guys have questions about the Global Challenge, about the European Internets coming up, or anything else, do drop them. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about EUIC except that I'm excited. I am the only one in the call that is attending. I realized that as we were picking out the cast, it was
Oh.
maybe we should have picked more people that were attending the upcoming tournament. But at the same time, we also were like, it would be cool to pick people from the 22-hour stream. That's why we got John here. We were going to maybe get Tommy, but
Wait,
I think
why do
Tommy.
we
why
have
I'm here
Kunal
too.
here? Why do we have Kunal here?
Yeah, because Kunal had the Hacked Mon episode. You gotta have one of
Oh,
those.
right,
before
yes,
you-
that's why.
You had me here because I had to talk about Orthworm before EUIC. I think that mod is sick.
I like that that guy a lot. I don't know.
Speaking of other sick mons, do you have any other sick mons on the radar, Kunal?
Yeah,
Kunal
Iron
never
Thorns.
misses.
Iron Thorns.
right?
I think it's really good. I think Iron Thorns is good because it has Rock Blast and a Pin Missile, right? And Rock Bug coverage is just like kind of good.
It is
but-
weirdly kind of good. It hits
Yeah, it is.
everything.
It hits
It's really strange.
like bug coverage hits all the or most of the runes mons. Rock Blast is hitting it's hitting
The one
Arcanine
rune
really
mon that
well.
is
It's
there.
hitting Flutter. It's killing Qian Pao through Sash. It's hitting Dragonite. It's like rock coverage is so good.
Okay.
Yep.
And
I'm figuring out. The gears are turning. I'm figuring out my team for 2 weeks from now.
Iron Thorns looks it looks pretty cool.
Didn't Justin Tang tweet out and say like he was considering Iron Thorns for Fort Wayne?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not allowed to pull up his Twitter like legally on stream. So, but yes, I promise you did.
I don't think it's that unhinged.
I don't know.
I feel like it's pretty unhinged.
All right, all right.
There are some recent developments that definitely mean you shouldn't pull it up, but
Oh, that's true.
We got a question in chat. What are the odds that Slitherwing makes a run in the EUIC? Does anyone want to explain why Slitherwing is a bad Pokemon?
It has bad typing and bad stats, and it's not really good into anything, and it takes too long to come online. And I can keep going if you want me to.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I just think that you're not allowed to stack Fairy Weeks in this format. It's Fluttermate's the best Pokemon in the format. You already want to run all these powerful dark types like Rune Pokemon, like King Gambit, like Roaring Moon. You can't just keep
Bug
adding
fighting
Fairy
is just
Weeks.
bug fighting is just
fighting
not real typing.
I wanted Slitherwing to be so good in Series 2. I put it on so many different teams, and every single time it just was not good. I thought it was super cool on Dondozo because it's got it's got a powerful U-turn that has the right speed tier to go after Tatsugiri or before Dondozo to get 2 attacks off on that turn. It's just not good. I kept trying it and I couldn't make it work. So it's probably okay in Series 2.
think,
It's not good. In Series
there's
3.
there's 2 ways to really run Slitherwing, right? There's you run Assault Vest, First Suppression, stab moves, and I don't know, maybe Terrifier or something, right? And then the other way is bulk up. And if you're going the bulk up route, then Ceruledge just ends up being better. And
Better
if you're
base
going the
typing.
Assault Vest route, I think most fire types and most bug types are just gonna outclass. Regular Volcarona just ends up being better.
probably even something like
Arcanine-
Scizor is better there.
Yeah,
the typing is
Scizor
just kind of
by far.
redundant. The typing is just kind of redundant because, as we mentioned, fighting hits the ruins, bug hits the ruins, but you really only need one of those, and having both means that you take on quite a lot of weaknesses into what's currently being played.
Yeah.
And so, a Scizor is a bit of a better pick. Abe mentions, is the UIC going to be Annihilape's tournament finally? And I mean, obviously, I think this is when we talk about Annihilate at this point, we discount the Scarf Final Gambit set because, maybe Alex Soto can make a deep run with it. But in terms of Mouse Ape and the bulk up sets, Julio runs a pretty good Annihilate team, so Julio can maybe potentially make a good run with it. I tried to use Annihilate at Fort Wayne, and I think the mon is good. But as we kind of mentioned with Slitherwing, Fluttermane is mon number 1. Its fighting type moves aren't really the draw of it, so maybe you're looking at it like this is a fighting type. There's a lot of dark types. This is cool. I don't think that ends up being very powerful because Drain Punch is so low base power. And then lastly, you're going to be clicking Rage Fist, which is resisted by all the ruins. It's a bit of a Terra Hog because of the Fluttermane issue. So I don't know. I think it's good to balance. A lot of people, that's something that people have been throwing around a lot in different team building circles. Is EU loves balance. They love to run the boring teams. So Mouse Ape does really good into teams that are slower, that are running the Fire, Water, Grass, Arcanine, Amoonguss,
Arcanine.
Arcanine. But I think that at the end of the day, like what Jody was saying, everybody worries about their mouse 8 matchup, but it doesn't actually do that well at tournaments. I think it's because at worst you kind of just like fall into this like uh okay, well I can just maybe win enough rock paper scissors. They're going to be playing rock paper scissors all day, and I don't think they're going to be able to come out on top that often in open team sheet at the very least.
Yo, if y'all don't have stream pulled up, you gotta pull it up right now. I gotta show you this graphic.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
Oh, that one's good. I thought you were going to pull up Jody's tweet from earlier about Mouse Ape was fire as well.
That is a really good tweet, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you were wondering how he wears them, it's right there.
But don't you think it'd be better if he wore it on his little like eye
No.
things, and then he turned himself upside down? That'd be cool, right?
No.
What?
No.
You don't think so?
Why would you cover your eyes with shoes?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Because you want to walk on your
You wear
head.
shoes on your feet.
Okay, but what if
if
those
he-
are his feet?
What if he put it on his shell and then just started hopping?
Ooh, Quagsire with the real question: How does Wo Chen wear pants? Where does he put pants?
Wait,
Does he
why
wear them
would-
on the little like wooden shingle things, or does he like?
I
just
think we
put them-
need. I think we need I Will the Gamer to give us a little demonstration of Wochin wearing pants.
True. The pro has the Tims of Ruin. Yeah,
Tim's of Ruin's pretty fire.
pant legs go over the eyes. Based. Yeah, actually, that's probably where it's supposed to go. Wait, then you're definitely putting the shoes on the eyes. Then
I
That's
was
where your
I was
pants are
tabbed
going.
out and thinking about the wrong Chen, and I was thinking about Chen Pao, and I was like, wait, maybe Chen Pao wears the pants over the teeth.
Oh, you mean his like sword? It's like actually a sword cut in half. You know that?
I know, but like the teeth.
The pants go over the Tims. Oh, okay. I can buy that too.
Mm-hmm.
Was there another question we missed? I don't even...
There was a bit of chatting, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. My opinion on Ape is like kind of the same grievances that Alex had. Going back to the topic, it's like the fighting stab is so weak, and then Rage Fist is like it's strong, but all the dark types are resisting you. It's really embarrassing when Wo Qian, who is weak to fighting, basically just like gets to sit there and eat you because you can't ever boost up to get past Tablets of Ruin. Like Rage Fist isn't doing enough. Drain Punch isn't doing enough unless you bulk up like 3 times. And then like they're just gonna Terra Poison, and then you can't kill them. So like, okay.
Yep. And as I was mentioning with the rock paper scissors plays, like, are they going to protect bulk of blah 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 blah? But like, also at the end of the day, they are building up to a single target nuke, and if you hit into a protect enough times, if you call enough turns wrong, the mon does start to fall apart. And so, I think it's fine. I think Annihilate definitely will have one person make a deep run. I don't know if it will be a guaranteed top 8 or anything, and I don't think it's going to win.
Yeah, I think I'd probably expect like 3 or 4 Annihilates to make day 2.
Yeah, that sounds
like
right.
3 or 4 like standard Annihilates, and then maybe like
And
1
then
or 2
Alex
Scarf
Soto with-
Annihilates on top of that.
Yeah,
Well,
Alex Soto.
So
Scarf
the
one.
one Annihilate that did well this year was Hari, right, at Oceania Internet. He got top 8, and so if there's anyone that can figure out how to do especially well with Annihilate, at least with Mousehold Annihilate, I think Annihilate on its own, even without Mousehold, is probably more viable than ever right now. So maybe that's the way to run it. Obviously, we were talking about Rock Blast, Bronzong, Bullet Seed, and Moongus as potential partners, and so I don't know if that necessarily translates to open team sheet. It might. Obviously, like Amoongus is still just a good Pokemon, and like I actually think that's kind of a cool dynamic where you get to say, "Hey, Fluttermane, I dare you to Moonblast me. I can Rage Powder, but also if you don't and you like Shadow Ball me or you Dazzling Gleam, then I can always side Bullet Seed and get my procs off." So that's a pretty cool dynamic. I like that a lot. But I don't know. I don't know what the best way to run it is. I haven't explored it. I did a lot of it in Series 2, and it just felt kind of mid. And so it's going to take a smarter person than me to figure out how to make at least Mouse Ape work in this meta game consistently, even though it can definitely achieve an individual win against almost anyone.
Maybe a hot take, but I just think Mousehold kind of sucks right now.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's very good in this format. I think Flutter is too much of an offensive threat, and a lot of the more offensive Pokemon are moving faster because of Flutter. So Mouse fast mouse, like population bomb style, is just getting speed crept, right? And then slow mouse just does not actually give you enough turn by turn pressure, I think. Super Fang just like it's you don't actually get to click it that many turns, and you don't have stats, and so like what are you actually running mouse for, right? If one of your slots has to be beat up for ape, then you have two slots, really one slot, right? Because you need follow me, you need protect.
Yep.
Um,
And at that point, why aren't you just like running an Indeedee, right? Like the
Yeah.
Indeedee is more stats and it has psychic terrain, which is definitely something that like stuffs it for like all the priority spamming teams. I'm talking like Palafin and Dragonite or like Chen Pao, who embarrassingly doesn't really run a dark move outside of Sucker Punch. So like you just get to wall it until it spinners you. But like okay, you can deal with that later.
mhm.
But yeah. I mean, mouse hold, friend guard is nice, but it does mean you have to sit on field and like eat up a whole slot, being no stats and doing nothing else.
Yeah.
So
Front guard is definitely good, but
and I think that's also probably why you're seeing a little more Vivian pop up, because the Mon is a little more active in the role. Tailwind, Sleep Powder, if you want to toss that out. Palm Puff that actually hurts things. Can
yeah.
get pretty
The other
nasty.
thing is like we just have Tinglu and Woqian as damage reduction in this format,
Mhm.
right? And so
Yeah,
like,
they're not necessary.
do you need to run them on with less stats to get damage reduction via front guard, or can you just run Tinglu or Woqian and kind of build your team in favor of the other defense stat than the one that you're running?
Yeah, and those mons like have an actual typing that they can pair with their BSTs. Like normal doesn't resist anything, whereas like and so mouse doesn't feel like it's a great switch in, whereas the defensive ruins are just like the premier switch ins on top of like Arcanine and Amoonguss and stuff.
I do think there are, maybe some setup mons that we could explore with mouse, right? Like something like Nasty Plot GU could maybe be good with mouse hold, could benefit from like the fast follow me plus Super Fang or even friend guard population bomb kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know.
Catch me
maybe-
clicking Super Fang Runation into both of your Pokemon.
True. Just spam Super Fang
That's
Ruination
basically,
with
that's
your.
basically 100% damage. It's basically a KO.
Or do it in
Yo.
the same Pokemon for a
Guardian of Alola.
Guardian of Alola. Yeah, there it is.
Let's go, Guardian of Alola. Except they both miss, so now you just whiffed your Guardian of Alola.
That's okay. Your double stomping tantrum next turn is double boosted.
Yes.
I don't think Mouse
exactly.
learned Stomping.
Neither does Chiyu.
Yeah. But,
Just why am I ruination with my Chiyu?
I did see one in GC that it was like a move. It clicked, and they did not win. So I was like, okay.
Yep.
I mean, Ruination
other,
is
like-
such a good move, but
I'll throw out a
One of
quick
those
question. Any is there any like surprise team or unique team idea that you think will show up at EUIC that we
Orthworm?
haven't really seen yet?
Orthworm?
It's Orthworm.
well, yeah. Is that what you're trying to direct us towards?
No, I'm just like genuinely
okay,
curious
okay.
if you have any.
I don't know. I think it's like way too early for me to say, but like I haven't really messed with things other than what I was running before. But I do feel like enough variations exist of size spam that you'll probably see some of it, especially from like Alex Soto type teams. I wonder if there will be any teams as aggressive as like the team I was running. Probably not. It's like very frail. If they figure out like exactly how to lead into you, or they get like one interruption, you're probably toast. But I'm gonna say that like size spam itself probably has some avenue for innovation, and I do think like Tinglu specifically with some weirder choices like will continue to see like good development, and not just like the standard AV fissure stomping stuff,
Yeah.
which that's all good and fine until someone gets fissured or you get fissured because you're running it. But like I think a lot can be said for the ones that have protect, or they're running rock moves, or they're going like I'm trying to think of like other whack stuff I saw through the GC. Like I don't think I saw any weakness policy ones, but I did see some like super citruses or things like that. So Tinglu probably has like a lot of room to try something new. Rain might also be real, but I'm gonna say maybe not, because like you kind of have to dedicate a lot of slots to the Rain game plan.
I think
Not sure
like
if that's really worth it.
everyone's day one team in this format was Palafin Rain, and then it just hasn't done anything
Yeah.
at all. I think there was maybe one in day two of Fort Wayne. I didn't see it at all in the GC personally. We saw more Floatzel Rain, honestly, than anything else.
Yeah. I saw more Floatzel Rain.
Which honestly is like maybe valid because I don't know into some of the more like aggro comps. If you have the time to switch out Palafin and also have a mon like Pelipper that can't take a hit, the balanced teams like the team that like Luca's team, like Tang's team, can do a little better because they have much better defensive switch-ins. And the way Gavin describes his team from Oceania is that it's a balanced team that has this like very aggro mode if you need to go into it, but he's playing this like sort of more balanced style of play. And so I think that what Floatzel does is if you're trying to play like aggro rain, it lets you click the buttons from turn 1. And that is really important if you're trying to play hyper offense. And if you're trying to play Palafin, then you're just better off playing the sort of balanced teams that do very well with Tinglu and with Arcanine and with the Moongus that give you defensive switches. So I don't know. Rain might be legit, but I don't think it's a Palafin Rain team that's going to do well.
I guess I'll pick Goldengo. I think it's not like a super secret Pokemon, but I think like the Water Terra Nasty Plot sets are going to make a comeback because they do really well into the Fire, Water, Grass, Flutter core. Like Water Goldengo just sits there. It's not going to be hit by Spore. A lot of the Arcanines are dropping Will-O-Wisp or Snarl right now in favor of just having Tinglu reduce the special attack, but when you're not weak to ground, you're just a water type. The Palafin can't hurt you that bad. You resist the Arcanine's attacks. A Moongus you just sit and look at. And Fluttering, I mean, it can do a bit of good damage with Moonblast, but it has to, make the read on the turn that you Terra to get the most value. And yeah, it's a Pokemon that just does really well into those types of teams. So I think a Goldengo can make a deep run.
Yeah. Something I'll follow up on that because it reminded me of like when you're talking about Arcanine. Is that I think Arcanine will continue to just be very good, but Terra types might fluctuate depending on what your team wants. I think most are sticking with water, but I have seen like a couple flying Terra Arcanine, so you can pair better with your Tinglu, because like really just an observation I had while I was going through GC and like my own observations. I was just like, man, the more opportunities you have to click Earthquake with very little like trade-off on your end, it's probably better. Like that move is broken.
That move has been the GOAT since the game was made.
Absolutely broken move. So the more Earthquakes you could toss out, I think that means like you might want to keep an eye on like who is Terra flying what in whatever team comp you're running or opposing. That might be something. And I think we even saw that in like Gyarados Tinglu coming up a little bit, and like Fort Wayne and this weekend a little bit as like an option for the water slot. But I think also as a development, because people would start to gravitate towards flying a little more, is that you might see like T-Bolt Flutter Mane pop up. It's something I actually wish I had too, because it's like it hits Gyarados really hard, and then it like hits all the flying types that want to Terra and dodge Earthquake really hard. So I think that's like something you can consider also. It hits Palafin too. It doesn't hurt, but like they weren't really eating your Moonblast anyway. Like, but T-Bolt doesn't hurt. I feel like there's probably some room for that. But yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. I think a lot of people are just, with Palafin and all the other common stuff, they just need to start innovating and finding new ways to run them so that it's not stale or not like predictable. Like, have some mix-up for your opponent so that like you don't get completely blown out because they know the matchup inside and out.
Yep, definitely. I'm going to be pretty curious to see how the more standard teams adapt to play the mirrors as well. Things like Fire, Water, Grass, Flutter. At Fort Wayne, a few of them were running back Excalibur. Lucas' team had, some techs that allowed him to play a little bit better into the mirror. So
yeah, we'll see if
PAL
sticks. PAL is another thing that like those type of teams are running. That I don't know if it's going to be like a staple or if it's going to just be like a choice or going to completely phase out. I think it'll probably fall into that middle category because that's the broadest category, But Howl was a really cool thing. Other than that, I'm trying to see what is going on in the chat. There's so many people. Thunderbolt is pretty common.
No, you see, they're watching stream, so they know what's happening, and that's why.
No, I don't have the stream open. Oh no! Why has he got the what? That's not pants.
Yeah, where are the pants, man?
It's got it's got some Henny. It's a New
You're
Yorker.
gonna hand me Henny without pants?
It's got no pants. It doesn't have the Yankees ball cap. I thought it was supposed to. I'm just teasing. The image is lit. That is awesome. But yeah, I think that's probably gonna do it for us today. We appreciate you guys all hanging out for the duration of this. Next week we'll be, of course, talking about the results of EUIC as well as an upcoming global challenge again. But EUIC going to be a big tournament, lots to talk about. So definitely look out for that one. I'm excited. And yeah, I think I'm the only one that's going to be there. So look out for me there if you're attending, if you want to say hi or anything.
What do you
and
think?
then
You need back on Monday.
Probably
yeah, I
not.
forgot. I leave Monday. I don't know if I'll be on the show or not. That's a good point.
Sounds like it's up to you again,
Well,
Audie.
we might do the thing that we did because we did for Oceania Internets when people have to travel. That,
Oh, true,
we
we did
pushed
do
it back
that.
till Tuesday because that way people can people who actually went to
I
the
mean,
tournament
yeah.
can be on. So we might
If
do that again.
if I win a UIC, if Tub wins EUIC, we're gonna want me on there, you know. So, so maybe we'll end up delaying it. What do you want to? Okay, yeah. So then, remind everybody that's going on YouTube. So check it out on YouTube on Audie's channel in a couple of days. It'll be up on Wednesday, and that's it. I don't know if I don't really know if we have any plugs. Like, whatever, you know. I forgot. Oh, I forgot. Audie doesn't throw the Twitter handles on there, but the Twitter
I have the Twitter handles on there. They're on there.
Wait, you do this now?
You're not watching the stream.
Oh, you
Now you
changed-
really know he's
changed
not
your-
watching it.
Well, yeah, I don't have it running because normally I'm the one hosting it and I know exactly what's on screen.
True.
Wait, do you
true.
have my Twitter wrong, bro? My Twitter's at UpHigh5.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
true.
So, well, now you know where to
Come
follow
on.
Kunal.
Yep. But that's gonna be it for this one. Let's figure out who we're gonna raid. And
I was gonna send it over to Abdul. So go say.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Go say hi to Abdul for us. You know, another great VGC player, DMB area. And yeah, and catch you guys later.
All right, peace
You
out.
all later.
Nation.